Hello, and thank you for watching this March 21st weather update, brought to you by Agrible, the makers of Morning Farm Report. My name is Eric Snodgrass, and I'm a senior atmospheric scientist and co-founder of Agrible. Well, it is finally spring. Today marks the Vernal Equinox, and on this day, the sun will rise directly to the east and set directly in the west. The sun's rays will be perpendicular to the equator at noon, and every location on Earth will have 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of darkness, except for the North and South poles. If you lived on the North Pole, the sun will rise today and not set for another 6 months. Now, I'm not sure how many of our viewers have ever experienced 24 hours of sun before, so I wanted to include a short video of what it was like to have days where the sun never sets. This video shows how the sun dances just above the horizon all day and all night. On the North Pole, this behavior will continue until September 21st, and then the sun will set and not rise again for another 6 months. We live on a really cool planet. Well, let's get back to the weather. 2016 has started off with a bang in terms of severe weather reports. This map shows the over 1,500 reports the Storm Prediction Center has received so far in 2016. Most of these reports are concentrated along the Gulf Coast and East Coast, which is actually typical of a strong El Nino year. But the reports across Illinois are the first to really hit the Corn Belt hard. Thankfully, this is before planting has started in 2016. Just as we had forecast in last week's video, severe storms formed on Tuesday evening. This radar animation shows the formation of those storms. Many of these storms were discrete supercells which produced multiple tornadoes. In total, there were 8 different tornado reports on the evening of March 15th. Here's a picture of one of those tornadoes near Springfield, Illinois. Now, this was a really tough storm system to chase, as most of these storms reached their severe limits right before dark. But these storms really put on a great light show. In total, these storms produced over 33,000 different lightning strikes. Now, what was interesting for us here at Agrible headquarters was that we were right here in Champaign, Illinois. At the tip of this arrow, every single storm missed us. However, our new hail detection algorithm written by Adam Burns and Bill Turner worked perfectly. We were able to detect hail across each of the fields highlighted in this light shade of gray and in the dark blue. Our hail alert system can pinpoint each field that experienced hail and provide information on the size, density, and duration of each hail event. Speaking of severe weather, the southern Mississippi River and Delta have been inundated with rain over the last 2 weeks. This map shows the percent of normal precipitation over that time period, and a large region has experienced over 600% of their normal rainfall. Northern parts of the Corn Belt have been very wet too, as has parts of Indiana and Ohio. This excess rain is going to play a big role in the 2016 growing season, and there is some concern that the weather patterns that created this excess rainfall will continue. Now out west, persistent onshore flow has gone a long way to relieve the historic drought, but much more rain is needed and much more snow is needed in California to complete this recovery. Now, before we start the forecast, let's take a look at the last 30 days in terms of surface temperature anomalies, which are differences from normal. It has been way warmer than average. We at Agrible have been forecasting a warm start to the 2016 growing season for several months now, and February and the first 20 days of March were no disappointment. While we were expecting the March through May time period to be slightly warmer than normal for most of the Corn Belt, the really warm conditions we have been experiencing are going to be put on a bit of a hiatus for the next couple of weeks. As we alluded to in the last video update, the last 10 days of March and the start of April will break away from the warmer weather patterns we've had for the last month. Essentially, the jet stream becomes highly amplified, bringing frequent and deep troughs through the eastern two-thirds of the country. The animation that you have been watching shows surface air temperature anomalies through the first week of April. What I wanted you to notice as this played in the background is that there are going to be some intense warm-ups that are followed by deep surges of cool air. There's a very, very active weather pattern that is setting up. Thankfully, really cold air in April is not the same as really cold air in February. But still, this is a big change from what we have been seeing for the last 30 days. The big story for this week will be the development of a large low-pressure system in the Central Plains. By Thursday, this low will be moving into Iowa. This map shows the temperatures and pressure early in the morning on Thursday. Warmth surges ahead of the system while colder air is filtered in on the backside. Here we can see the wind speed and direction. Despite the warm-up, which in most locations will be better than 20 degrees above average, it will be very windy. Expect a very windy week due to the development of this system in the Great Plains. When it really gets going by late Wednesday night into Thursday morning, we are expecting a lot of precipitation from Colorado to Nebraska to Iowa, Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan, and then off to the northeast. We're also expecting more precipitation for the Delta region and the southeastern parts of the United States. This is a big precipitation maker. But the biggest story might be the heavy snow we are expecting this week. Here's the snowfall totals through Wednesday night. Out east, a low-pressure system along the coast will drop snow from New Jersey through Maine, dumping a few inches on New York City and Boston as it exits the northeast part of the United States on Monday. A second low-pressure system will likely drop several inches of snow from Colorado to Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan. We need to watch for any shift in the position of this low, as it could really change the location of this heavy snow band. We are also watching the southern edge of the storm too. Here's the Day 4 severe weather outlook for later this week, produced by the Storm Prediction Center. I will be watching this area very closely this week. But on a grand scale, we are seeing a very active weather pattern as we prepare to get into the fields for the start of this growing season. Well, as always, we at Agrible will bring you the latest and best weather forecast information through our morning farm report so that you can efficiently plan your operations. We thank you for your attention and hope you look forward to our next weather video update. Thank you.